All right, so we're back at it for part 9 of The Steelers Suck. And this video is going to be about our conditioning coaches. And I'm going to be talking about, the injuries and all that. But the one that I'm mainly going to be focusing on is the groin injuries, right? Because over the years, we have looked at, a Steelers injury report. And every time we look at it, we're always asking ourselves, why is it that we see so many groin injuries? Right? I mean, like I've seen them on an injury report more times than I can count. As this falls on the conditioning coaches for not training their players properly on how to stretch during, before a game. Right? You see, now of course, is to talk about and something that's not related to groin injuries, but, Steeler injury in general. So like last year, right before the season started, Russ missed the first 6 or 7 games. And while Dumlin, as like he's done many times before, has gone to underreport an injury, and he underreported the fact that Russ had a calf injury. But from what I heard, however, the reason he got that calf injury is because he was overworked to do some sort of sleigh push or whatever. He was pushing a heavy sleigh on the grass. And you want to know whose fault that is for why he was overworked into getting a calf injury? You guessed it, our conditioning coaches, who need to be fired. And now, yes, I understand that it's the NFL and, injuries are going to happen regardless. But when you see that these groin injuries, they're by far our most common injury on our injury reports over the years. And it's and I remember 2 years ago, again, our week 1 home opener against the 49ers, Scam Hayward, that money laundering fat cuck, he got a groin injury. And I don't even think that was the first groin injury that we suffered in that game. And I was at the point to where it's on top of the fact that the Niners were up 17-0 on us, I was like, this whole game is a groin injury, right? But anyways, it's when it's this many groin injuries happening, at some point it's time to start looking into these conditioning coaches on how they train their players in practices, during pre-games, and how they are teaching them to stretch and all that, right? Now let's see. So look at this picture right here. So you got the hip flexor stretch, you got the frog stretch, you got the side leg stretch, you got the gate stretch, you got the side lunge stretch, you got the butterfly stretch as well. So it's so when you look at this, it's obvious that these players are not doing enough of these stretches before games, especially the lunge stretches, right, and the hip flexors, because you see a lot of players do that before games, and it's quite obvious that our conditioning coaches are not doing a good job getting these players to stretch, to do those stretches the way they should. Because these are groin exercises to reduce pain and improve flexibility. But of course, as long as Dumlin is the coach, as long as Art, Mitch McConnell, Rooney II is the owner, these conditioning coaches are going to remain, and we're going to keep seeing more and more groin injuries pile up our injury report week after week after week after week. right? So it's like, imagine a hypothetical scenario where we have a different head coach, different coordinator, and a much better team. A team that's actually capable of competing for a Super Bowl. If we have the same conditioning coaches that have led to our players getting groin injuries time and time again, especially when we need those players to compete for a championship, then it makes you wonder, what's the point in even having a Super Bowl contender when your conditioning coaches absolutely suck to where your players keep getting hurt, especially with the groin injuries, right? This is another one of many reasons why this team is a mess. Because our conditioning coaches suck. They don't know they don't know how to pace their players when it comes to training them. They either underwork them, which is leading to them getting these groin injuries because they're not exercising the stretches good enough, or of course they overwork them like they did Russ last year, leading to his calf injury. But so yeah, no matter how good your roster is, no matter how good your head coach and coordinators are, no matter how good your front office is, if you have conditioning coaches who suck so bad that they have led to all your players constantly getting hurt, then it's like then that completely diminishes how good your team is on paper. No matter how strong of a Super Bowl contender your team is, if your conditioning coaches suck that bad, especially to where we're getting the groin injuries, it's not going to matter how good the roster is, the coaching is, the front office is and all that. You need to have conditioning coaches that can keep your players in shape, keep them healthy, and keep them from getting injured. Though injuries are going to happen, yes. But we need good enough conditioning coaches that can keep these injuries to a limit. And now, of course, another injury that we see a lot besides the groin injuries is the hamstring injuries, right? But to keep it on topic with the groin injuries, because if you look it up, because you want to know what an injured tight groin can cause. Depending on how bad it is, it can cause inward knee collapse, it can cause lower back pain, and restricted movement as you age. AKA something that can shorten a player's career. Right? So yeah. That's probably the major reason on why we got to get rid of these conditioning coaches. Time to get them all the fuck out. No more groin injuries, no more hamstring injuries. I am tired of seeing it on the injury report time and time again. It's gotta stop. Gotta stop. Get conditioning coaches in there that can actually teach your players how to actually stretch and prevent, reduce groin injuries, improve their flexibility, and therefore we won't see this on the injury report week in and week out. So that's gonna do it for this video for part 9 of the Steelers Suck. One more to get to 10. So I've got pretty much I probably got like a handful of videos left to do. Stay tuned for them. Anyways, I'm out.